Ain't nobody's running, ain't nobody's hiding, nobody's ducking. I mean, Crawford's gonna be right there, ready to trade blows with Canelo Alvarez. Why did you use that word war? Why are you feeling that way?
If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford.
Crawford could see everything coming. He could see everything coming that Canelo threw at him. He was reading it so well. His guard was so tight as well when he was up at the ropes, when he was exiting, looking to move around.
They looked about the same size. But that was a brilliant performance. So what can you say? I mean, you got to give him his credit. He created a lot of history. He dreamt this fight. He willed it to happen. A lot of people, not me, but a lot of people laughed at him, said forget about it, no chance against a bigger guy like.
Stephen A. Smith gave a fiery reaction to Canelo Alvarez's defeat by Terence Crawford. He pointed out that Crawford had long desired this fight to cement his legacy. In his words, Crawford delivered on the grandest platform and is now the champion, dimming Canelo's spotlight. Smith underlined that this wasn't just another victory, but a defining milestone, asterisk.
Division world champion out of Omaha, Nebraska. He's undefeated, 41-0 with 31 KOs, and he begged for this fight. He wanted Canelo bad because to him, it's all about legacy. I'm not speculating. I'm telling you what I know. And how would I know? It's because I interviewed him. Yesterday, we sat down. Here is my conversation with the one and only Terence Crawford challenging Saul Canelo Alvarez, moving up 2 weight divisions to do it.
Max Kellerman likewise stated that Crawford's showing was historic and career-changing. Kellerman dissected Canelo Alvarez's defeat to Terence Crawford with keen analysis. He likened the task to moving up several weight classes and meeting a dangerous rival. Who drags you into a true dogfight for the first time ever? Kellerman stressed that fighters with real belief chase hard competition, ignoring size, speed, or strength. He pointed out how Crawford displayed that fearless attitude, reminding all that for years. No one boldly called out Bud. In his view, Crawford proved his status among boxing's elite by welcoming that test, asterisk.
Giving up or having to jump up 2 more weight classes and fight a guy who might put him in a dogfight, a real one, for the first time in his career.
When we get put in that position, we go find opposition to make that happen. You understand me? So when we go looking for the opposition, we're not concerned about how big they are, how fast they are, how strong they are. We feel like we got enough that we can bring to the table with anybody. That night I fought John Ruiz, I didn't care who's over there. Whoever they brought up that locker room was gonna get it. You understand me? That's just what it was. And I think Bud kind of has that feeling. Now, Bud, you gotta remember, has been around for a long time. Nobody called him out. You understand me? All the time Floyd came at the boxing, Floyd never said, I want Bud Crawford.
No one ever said his name.
Hey, all I know is one thing, Israel Mazarmov, he didn't get it, he barely lost.
Yeah, but I was just saying, but nobody called him.
Shocker Stevenson's respect for Terence Crawford has always been clear, but after Crawford's dominant victory over Canelo Alvarez, his remarks carried even greater meaning. Stevenson said that Crawford not only backed up everything he promised before the fight, but he also proved why he is regarded so highly. Shocker revealed that from the earliest moments of his career, he studied Crawford's style, mentality, and discipline. Seeing his idol achieve such a historic accomplishment confirmed for Stevenson that greatness is created through years of preparation and consistency. To him, Crawford is not just a champion inside the ropes, but also a guiding figure who represents the level of excellence that younger fighters strive to reach, asterisk.
Canelo said he was going to outbox him. He did exactly what I called years ago, and tonight he proved that he's the greatest boxer that ever lived.
In the interview with Dimwell, you said, you felt like going on a run watching that tonight. How much inspiration can you take from someone like Terence?
I take everything from I've been around him since I was a kid, and just watching that great.
Stephen A. Smith reflected on how focused Terence Crawford was going into the Canelo fight. He noted that while many fighters might have asked a star like Canelo to drop down to a more comfortable division, Crawford chose to face him straight at 168 pounds. For Crawford, the mission was never about comfort. It was always about legacy. Smith reminded audiences that Canelo Alvarez remains one of boxing's elite champions, with a record filled with titles across several divisions. For Crawford to target exactly what Canelo possessed at this weight, and to chase it without hesitation displayed his hunger to capture greatness on the hardest platform available, asterisk.
With 31 knockouts. He's taken on all comers. I asked him, you're moving up in weight. Why would you not try to get Canelo to come down from 168 to 160 to meet you halfway, since his last fight was at Crawford's last fight was at 154. Crawford said, I want what he has. I want to go take it. I don't want to make, I don't want to make concessions and alterations. I'm coming to take what he has. And you look at him, and no one believes that he can't pull it off. He can box, he can punch, he's smart, he's elite, and he wants Canelo. He begged Canelo.
Aid Oladipo pointed out the dramatic shift in public opinion about Terence Crawford. Before the fight, many critics claimed Crawford was too small, too old, and unprepared to handle a powerhouse like Canelo Alvarez at a heavier weight. Yet, after the fight, many of those same people were quick to praise him, forgetting the doubts they had expressed before. Aid stressed that Crawford earned every bit of recognition because he secured the victory in the hardest way possible. Moving up from lighter classes and then taking on a dominant force like Canelo was no shortcut. It carried massive risk. By beating Canelo convincingly, Crawford proved he is defined not by size or age, but by his skill and relentless will. Asterisk.
I did it again a few hours ago against Canelo. And what makes it even special or more special for Crawford is that he did it jumping up, as we know, a couple of weight classes. He did it against one of an all-time or another fellow all-time great. And he did it against someone who was undisputed and still a pound-for-pound top 10 guy. That's what Crawford did, people. So, all those things people were saying in the lead up to this fight, Canelo's gonna be too strong, Canelo's too experienced, Crawford's gonna be 38, all that. You have to remember all of that when you give Crawford his flowers. Don't like, oh, well, Canelo looks old. No. I don't want to hear any of that. I've started to see a few people on Twitter start to kind of sort of find excuses already. No. Remember everything you said, because Crawford deserves all of that. All of that. Crawford was incredible. Honestly, in the pocket, he was at times showing Canelo, no, I'm stronger than you. I'm going to bully you. Oh, you think you're going to get me in the clinch because you're Mr. 168? No, look at the size of me. I'm jacked as well. I'm swole. And he was moving Canelo around. So by doing that, he got his respect. He didn't switch to orthodox once, stayed in the southpaw stance because he realized early, oh, Canelo don't like this. Canelo does not like this southpaw stance. Canelo's tripping over himself. I'm going to stay here. I'm not going to switch it. I know I like this work. I'm going to stay here. On the ropes, it's like, okay, come in, because when you come in, I've got that as well, and I can hurt you as well. Spinning off the ropes. His jab was fantastic. They put up the jab numbers. He was out jabbing Canelo, like, it was almost like 10-1, maybe even 20-1. It was fantastic, and when he needed to land those power shots, he was landing those power shots. It was incredible performance.
The weight concept analyst offered key insight by rejecting the claim that Canelo's loss could simply be blamed on the decline of an aging fighter. He explained that Crawford is actually older than Canelo, meaning age cannot serve as an excuse for Alvarez's defeat. In addition, Canelo stepped into the ring holding clear advantages in weight, power, and comfort at the division. Even with all of that, he was still outclassed by Crawford. WDE's point was that the victory had nothing to do with Canelo slipping, but everything to do with Crawford rising to another level entirely. By removing the excuses, he reinforced that Crawford's triumph was genuine, undeniable, and historic.
Tight, more fundamentally sound. While Canelo, even when he was able to get to range, which wasn't a lot, it wasn't often, he was having a hard time landing clean because everything was super wide and out here and to the body out there. And Crawford would either circle out to that same side, to Canelo's lead hand side. He would circle away because Canelo would step straight to Crawford and chase him and not necessarily cut him off. And even when he threw that hook, I was looking for the hook from Canelo right hand as he stepped through, right? Corral with the lead hand, bang the right hand because you're fighting a southpaw. So yeah, your jab may not be as effective in landing and managing distance and all those things, even though for Terence it kind of was. For Canelo, I was expecting a lot more of that right hand down the middle and over the top, and then jabbing his way, feint jab right hand, and then that lead hook that I thought he would be able to corral Crawford, because Crawford did want to move away from Canelo. He did. He wanted to move away from that power hand. Smart to do. Canelo never took that extra step to step outside of Crawford's lead foot. Again, that orthodox southpaw matchup, it's always going to be a battle of that lead foot. He never took that next step to get outside of that lead foot and then step through Crawford, step to his left where Crawford was going, and land his right hand. He just felt like he was falling off to his right with his right hand, and once he fell off to his right after he threw the right hand, there was no follow-ups because he was off balance, and Crawford was out the gate and circling back to reset the action. This was a masterful display from Terence Crawford. And again, I looked at this fight, and I don't want to do the thing where I said, oh, you know, Canelo's washed, he's over the top, he's old. Terence Crawford's older than Canelo. Is he as weathered as far as fights are concerned? No. But you can only do one thing when talking about this fight, and that is give credit to Terence Crawford. If you want to say Canelo looked old, that's fine. That's on you.
Carl Frog, the former champion, broke down Crawford's tactical adjustment during the middle stages. Frog explained that after the 6th and 7th rounds, Crawford understood that he had to push forward and take stronger command of the contest. His jab became the tool that created openings, disrupting Canelo's rhythm and forcing him backward. Frog applauded Crawford's awareness in knowing the perfect time to change gears. Instead of letting the action slip away, Crawford capitalized on the moment to stamp his authority with a more assertive style.
She's on the back foot, sort of dictating the pace. And then after about round 6 or 7, Canelo Alvarez knew, 1 second. I need a little freshener. Canelo knew he had to step on the gas. He knew he needed to put the fight on its front foot and take it to Terence Crawford and start to try and catch him and bang him on. And when he headbutted Crawford, I thought that could be the start of it. A little bit of a nut, get that down. Yeah, I don't think there was a cut, but the referee stopped and had a look, and I thought now Canelo's going to step on the gas. And he did that. He stepped on the gas, he started getting in close, and he started landing a few more shots than he was in the previous rounds, but it wasn't enough. Terence Crawford was able to catch and counter. He was landing a sneaky uppercut from the southpaw stance. He was dominating behind his jab, and then when Canelo stuck it on him, he was dominating up close in the pocket. He was beating him at his own game. Canelo Alvarez must have been fuming in there. He must have thought to himself, what can I do? He couldn't do anything. He needed to pick up the pace, put the pressure on, and sustain the attacks. And I don't want to take anything away from Terence Crawford, but Canelo Alvarez couldn't do that. He couldn't do it for long enough. Crawford looked like he could have done 20 rounds in there tonight at that pace, the way he was dictating and controlling. And Canelo Alvarez was getting marked up, he was breathing heavy, he was getting tired, he was reaching with shots, and it was getting torn apart. It was an absolute masterclass by Terence Crawford. Canelo tried, Canelo came, he had a go, but to be honest, I don't want to rain on the parade of Crawford, but Canelo Alvarez, for me, is well past his best now. He's seen better days. He hasn't got the pace, he hasn't got the fitness to sustain the attack. Afterwards in the interview, he said, I felt great, it's great, I feel good. And don't forget, Crawford's a couple of years older. So I think it's the miles on the clock. Canelo Alvarez had like 67 fights. I know Crawford's had a fair few fights, but he's about 20 fights behind him. So the miles on the clock have caught up with Canelo Alvarez. He's feeling the pace.
Another boxing analyst broke down why Terence Crawford's win against Canelo Alvarez should stand as a showcase of pure ring IQ. He described Crawford's showing as nothing less than brilliance, emphasizing how he appeared to read nearly every punch Canelo tried to deliver. Instead of responding after the fact, Crawford had clearly examined Canelo's tendencies and was ready with the right counters before the attacks were even launched.
Throwing the lead left hook to try and cut this off. And when he did get his foot to the outside, that was an option. But over time, Crawford, as he always does, as the genius boxer that he is and is able to do, starts to find those counter punches. And there was 2 counters in particular that I noted during the fight that I felt were absolutely key for Crawford. The first was the counter off that left hook to the body. Now, Canelo did land these sometimes. That left hook he throws, the lead left hook, is quite unpredictable. But he started to land it quite effectively to the body from time to time. But what Crawford was doing was he was catching it with his elbow, and then he'd throw the straight left hand back at Canelo as a counter shot. He'd throw multiple shots. And what I really loved about his counter work was he'd never throw more than singles or 2s or 3s. He never got carried away. He never did too much with Canelo. Don't get me wrong though, Canelo was still defensively very astute in this fight, but he simply didn't have the foot speed to get to Crawford. He couldn't do it. And he didn't want to use his own jab because I believe Crawford's lead hand is so effective that southpaw stance really meant he could dominate the fight with his own lead hand. Canelo's not a massive jabber himself, but now that he was fighting someone closer to his size, I thought he might try and implement the jab, but he didn't because Crawford's counters were just too fast and too good. There was a couple of moments in this fight, and I said in my prediction I thought that you'd see Crawford in moments looking absolutely electric and just outclassing Canelo, looking too fast and lighting him up, and we saw that. I'll never forget the beginning of round 9 where he actually stood in the pocket with Canelo and he just rolled with the shots and he was throwing counters. It was absolutely brilliant. But the second counter that he used that was really effective was he'd allow Canelo to throw that single right hand, that straight right hand, that backhand for Canelo, make him miss and come back with his own straight left hand over the top. I also thought that Crawford stabbing to the body was very good. He'd throw straight shots to the body, and that was something I predicted from the Lara fight that he would be able to do. That was also where I got the idea with the exits that I felt would be useful. And the reason we knew they'd be useful and important was because of Saunders just not really dealing